Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Annelies and today I will be reviewing Love Explosion, the newest Zara fragrance release. I have been out for a while. If you follow my channel, you know that I haven't been posting any videos these last couple of months. I had a thing, but the thing is fine now. It's gone. The thing made me not able to review videos and to review fragrances and make review videos. But for now, I'm doing just fine, so don't worry about that. And besides this Love Explosion review, I will also be making a review video about the Metal collection. I don't know exactly what the collection is called, but I saw that Zara released four, metal fragrances, let's say, something silver, something gold, something bronze. I did order those and I will be reviewing those as well. That video is probably coming up somewhere next week. I'm thinking next Tuesday or Wednesday maybe. But so yeah, for today we're doing a Love Explosion, which is a new Zara fragrance. This fragrance comes in one of their typical chapter bottles, and this one is a special edition. It's an 80 ml of EDP, and they describe it as the elegance and personality of Red Zara Temptation and Rose Gourmand. So maybe it's sort of a blend between those two. This fragrance retails for roughly 23 euros in Europe, roughly 36 US dollars, and roughly 46 Canadian dollars. The top notes are bergamot, bitter orange, and peony. The middle notes are rose, praline, and amber. And in the base, we have moss, vanilla, and musk. So this is the bottle. By the way, I haven't had my nails done in a pretty long time, so they look terrible. Please don't look at them. But yeah, this is the bottle. So again, this is a typical chapter bottle. If you know the Zara fragrances, these chapter bottles have been out for quite a while now. I think it's like 3 years or so now, and they do chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I don't know which chapter this belongs to, but it doesn't really matter. And yeah, they're sort of telling us that it's sort of a blend or a collaboration, let's say, between Rose Gourmand and Zara Red Temptation. They've actually changed the name from Red Temptation to Red Zara Temptation. That's something new. So if you like those types of fragrances, maybe you'd like this one. Let me just tell you what it smells like, of course. So I did give this a spray, and I'm gonna spray it again. So at first, my first impression was, okay, it's pretty bold. It's pretty, there is a sweetness in there. It's not overly gourmandishly sweet, but it's definitely, I immediately picked up on that praline. And I think what also gives some sweetness might be that orange. And then like 5 seconds later is when you definitely smell the rose. So the rose in here is super prominent. If you don't like rose fragrances, just stay clear of this one, because I do think that is the most detectable note. So I immediately thought, you know, this is a strong fragrance. I'm not really talking about the lasting power or the projection, but more of the scent itself. This type of scent profile, this DNA, it's very like out there, at least in my opinion. So this is something that I would not recommend for someone to be wearing at the office, or if you have a dentist appointment, stuff like that. Please don't wear this on an airplane. I love fragrances too, and sometimes I like subtle fragrances. Sometimes I like them to be bold and very prominent, but there are occasions for that, and I don't like people wearing extremely bold rose fragrances on airplanes. So that's just me. So yeah, this one, at first I was thinking, okay, what does this remind me of? Because it definitely reminds me of another Zara fragrance, but I couldn't really pinpoint it at first. And then I was like, you know what? It has something in common with Red Temptation Winter. If you haven't tried that one, I have made a video about it as well, where I compare Red Temptation Winter to original Red Temptation. or I think I just review Red Temptation Winter. I will put that link in the description below and up here on the screen. But it does have some similarities, and mostly what it has similar is that praline. I think Red Temptation Winter has patchouli. This one doesn't have patchouli, but it does have moss in the base, and I'm not saying those two notes smell the same, but they sort of give me a similar vibe. It always has a little bit of a more of a classic touch, let's say. I don't want to say old-fashioned because that sounds a bit negative, but it does remind me more of a fragrance worn by older women. And with older, of course, that's all, you know, what is older? I mean older than me. But that's just a nice classic touch, but it's not super modern if you ask me. Because moss always gives me a bit of a chypre vibe. Not that this is like a classic chypre or anything, but you get the rose and the moss, and yeah, like I said, the praline sort of reminds me of Red Temptation Winter. Then I kept sniffing my wrists and I kept smelling it, and it also started to remind me a little bit of Red Temptation Summer. And that is probably the peony in here that gives me that Red Temptation Summer type of scent. That one also has rose, amber, musk, maybe the praline, not even sure anymore. But yeah, so it does have some similar notes to Red Temptation Summer, although that one has a fruity, it has raspberry, it has lychee. Is it lychee or lychee? I'm just gonna go with lychee. But that one is, those notes are not in this one. So I do think it's more of a merge between Red Temptation Winter and Red Temptation Summer than it is a Red Temptation and Rose Gourmand merge. Honestly, besides Rose, I don't really recognize Rose Gourmand in here at all, but that's maybe because in Rose Gourmand, I really get that super sweet, sultric vanilla. And even though this one has vanilla in the base, I don't really think this is a vanilla heavy fragrance at all, which I do think Rose Gourmand is. So yeah, that's just my opinion. It's more Red Temptation Winter and Summer. So it sort of has a mixture between sort of like spring-like notes, elements, let's say. I guess that's the peony, the bergamot maybe. Those have more of a, I wouldn't say freshness, but like more of a, yeah, like a floral, slightly fruity vibe. But it's definitely combined with some heavier, more wintry notes, such as that praline. Here I am again. The praline, the musk, the amber. So those are more heavy. So it's sort of like it's like a warm, more wintry fragrance, but it has some spring sprinkled on top. I know I'm saying that weird, but I hope you sort of get what I mean. But this whole time, you know, I also sprayed it on my wrists. And this whole time I was thinking, you know, okay, it reminds me a little bit of Red Temptation Summer. It reminds me a little bit of Red Temptation Winter, but there's something else that this really reminds me of. It really smells very similar to something else. And I'm thinking it's something Zara, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And then it finally hit me like, okay, especially the dry down is actually super similar to Zara's Hipster Oud. So I think, in my personal opinion, if you have Hipster Oud, I don't think you're gonna need this one because they are just too similar. Except if you're like, I love my Hipster Oud, but I kind of want it to have a little bit of a peony touch. But honestly, it's mostly that dry rose that personally I find a little bit harsh, both in Hipster Oud and in this one. It's that dry rose combined with that amber, combined with praline. I don't know if Hipster Oud has praline anymore, but this one definitely has. So yeah, it's that bold, ambery, rose, saffron-y. This one doesn't have saffron, but it has sort of that saffron-y vibe. You know, honestly, I kind of liked the opening, even though it is very bold, and it's definitely not gonna be for everyone. But I did sort of like it. I was like, okay, this is a nice fragrance. I like it, it's nice. But then the dry down, I've been wearing this for a few hours now on my wrist, and the dry down, it sort of takes away all the good notes in my opinion. So I don't really get the bergamot or the peony anymore. I'm getting a little bit of the praline, but I'm mostly getting a harsh, dry, ambery rose that I just don't really like. It's not bad, it's not terrible, but I've noticed that, you know, I got wafts of it the whole time, and I was just like, you're supposed to enjoy the wafts of your fragrance that you're getting, and I'm kind of ready to wash off my wrist, which is not a good sign. So for me, the dry down sort of ruins it. If I had to rate this fragrance, I would give the opening probably a 7 out of 10, because it's kind of nice, it's fine. I don't love it, but it's fine. But I have to give the dry down, I can't really give it more than a 5. Let's say a 5.5 out of 10. And actually I'm being generous. No, a 5 out of 10. And of course that's just my personal taste. I guess I'm not really a amber and rose combination type of person. So I didn't like that in Hipster Oud, and I don't really like it in this one. So for me, the dry down is a 5 out of 10, which in my opinion is not good enough. So I will be decluttering this one immediately, but of course give it a try for yourself. Your opinion might differ from mine, obviously. By the way, I had a terrible haircut. I had my bangs cut. I actually didn't have bangs, but I got bangs and they were cut terribly. That is why I have this little bobby pin thing going on. Oh, longevity, right. I kind of often forget to comment on the longevity and the performance in general, the sillage and all that. It's pretty strong because I am getting wafts. I've been wearing this one on my wrist for 4 hours now, and wait, what time is it? Yeah, roughly 4 hours, and I am getting some strong wafts. I only did one spray on my wrist, and the whole time that I was doing things around the house, so moving my arms, I definitely got wafts. So I would say that it has strong projection. I'm pretty sure that if you spray this 2 or 3 times that you are gonna have a decent scent bubble around you. Now we are 4 hours in. It's still smelling pretty strong, but I do want to emphasize on the fact that the dry down smells a little different. Well, quite different if you ask me from the opening. So if you're trying this in store and you're like, oh, this smells nice, I would recommend to just give it a spray on your wrist and walk around the mall a bit longer, just so you can evaluate the dry down and see if that is your thing, because it's not mine. But yeah, that is my opinion on this new fragrance. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this fragrance. Do you agree with the things that I said, or do you have different opinions on it? I would love to hear. Is anyone actually getting the Rose Gourmand in here that I'm not getting? I would love to hear that as well. So thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear all your thoughts and opinions on this fragrance. Let me know in the comments. And also, again, I apologize for the long, well, what was it, like 3-month period or something that I was out. But yeah, I'm back and there are more videos to be posted soon, so stay tuned for that. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and I will see you for the next one. Bye!